Last summer, most of our youth wore white t-shirts. We saw all the young kids walking around with white t-shirts on. This summer, the color is going to be red. You're going to see a lot of red this summer. Red triggers programmed sleepers. When the cops see those young boys with those red shirts on, the first thing that's going to come to those cops' mind is attack. Understand that. You're going to see shootings and crowds and all kinds of things go down. They started with the Pope. The whole funeral was dressed in red. We're going to show all that. They programmed your youth with Bloods and Crips in order to promote the red. They even came out with a saffron art design in Central Park, Orange Alert. We're going to get into all that stuff. So, the very first thing I want to get into is a little bit of reading here. Now, before they started promoting the Pope's demise, in the news, you had this white girl whose real last name was Schindler, as in Schindler's List. Y'all remember that? I know we got short memories. We've been programmed to forget. That's why we don't remember our dreams. Understand that. We've been programmed to forget, genetically. We're going to get into that. They started by pulling the plug or the food supply from Schindler. That's her maiden name. On Lent, the beginning of Lent. What is Lent? Anybody know what Lent is?
Fasting.
Fasting. We're talking about Illuminati ritual here. Fasting. They pulled her plug starting with Lent. All through that. And then they came with the sickness of the Pope and plugged him in. Understand what's going on here? In the middle of all that, they gave you a little article, one page, of the death of Johnny Cochran. We're talking about a major, major ritual, and they used Johnny Cochran from April 20th of last year to now. Johnny Cochran was killed on April 20th, around that time of last year. Anybody know what April 20th is? Hitler's birthday. Hitler's birthday. And we got it in the news for one day this spring, a year later, very close to what? Hitler's birthday, April 20th. Il Papa, the Pope, and his clone. And his clone. Look at the resemblance. Look at the resemblance. Right in your face. The Daily News. The Pope and his clone. See that? And what does it say? Il Papa. Let's see what some people have to say. Let's see what kind of mind control goes on in our society. This is Poland, Krakow. Anybody know what that is? That's the place where the Pope sold cyanide gas to kill the Jews. He was a really good friend to young people of Poland. Now, if you read the newspaper, they even stated in the paper that he worked for the Nazis. They said it. But What is this, BBC? BBC News. It was really sad when he was getting worse and worse. The next pope will have a hard task. He was our guide in modern times, and his main message was love. We're talking about mind control and programming. I'm going to get heavily into it because the deepest form of mind control is sexuality. Let's see what some other people said. I believe that anyone says they are Catholic but doesn't believe in the Pope is not a Catholic. He didn't tolerate things that he believed to be wrong and demanded that we obey his teachings. That's a Brazilian black woman. Now, remember, if you saw the last lecture, I told you how many people was programmed on this planet. And by the way, that Global 2000 report, killing off 2.5 billion races on the planet, they're giving you good information, but they're also giving you bullshit. They want more slaves. The 2.5 billion that they want to kill off are people who are not programmed and don't have the genetics of not to be able to be programmed to follow society. Understand that. That's what that's dealing with. They don't want to kill off all the people on the planet. They want more and more slaves. That's why the schools only teach you enough to be a slave. I don't even know what this says here. Azzariah or Azzariah Bey, Rome, Italy, 28. Hotel manager, so and so on. He was an example to all of us. With Mother Teresa and Gandhi, he was one of the most positive people of the last century. He taught Christian values by example. Every fucking way he went, people got killed. He spoke directly to young people. He brought a whole generation closer to the church. Now, when you're following the popes all week, they had this pope shit ritual going on. And one of the papers they had the Pope laying down with Clinton on one side, Bush and all of them sitting there like they're at a dinner table. That's because they have to eat the body. That's what they do in church. This is my body, the blood and the wine. That is an Illuminati ritual. They must eat parts of his body. And if you look at their faces, they know it. Get that newspaper, look at the faces. I don't have it here. He spoke directly to young people. He brought a whole generation closer to church. We got to go through this for a minute. I feel sad about the Pope, the Nigerian. The Nigerian feels sad about the Pope. He has been a very good Pope, very accommodating, but he's poor as hell. And the most traveled and definitely ordained from above. I'm not even going to read the rest of that. It just feels so distant as if it never happened. This is in Korea. It just feels so distant. The Catholic Church tends to be quite conservative, and I don't think things will change overnight just because of the death of the Pope. I do feel sad, but so on and so on. So we see what people are thinking as far as programming goes. 63-year-old from Spain. Well, the Pope is like any other person. He goes the same way as all of us. Like my father and so on, so on, so on. I have so much I have to move fast with some of this stuff. David Johnson, that looks like a brother from the U.S. It is. Tributes to the Pope from city of Boston, the U.S. I am saddened. Saddened even though I'm not Catholic. He tried to change the world, but they wouldn't listen to him. He's going to heaven. London. I'm not a Catholic, but I think he brought a lot of peace and reconciliation to the nations and cultures. I'm not even going to read that shit either. This is from one of the newspapers. And you'll see nothing but red up in here. That's the Committee of 300. The Committee of 300, red robes. Understand that. Black robes are underneath the Committee of 300, and white robes are the Illuminati. That's the Committee of 300. And they're starting this ritual with red. Understand that red is your root chakra, and they send ELF transmissions when your root chakra is open to implant messages and open you up to sexuality. Much of the sexuality that goes on in society is programming. Much of it. Here's another picture with a black pope right up in there. See that? All red. For a whole week, they showed you all red. I'm going to show the charts on that. We're going to get into that deeply. My man, Flavor Flav. Unbelievable. Isn't that, did y'all see this show? They got him on a TV show lusting after Bridget Nielsen, which I knew her first husband, Mark Gastineau, and Gastineau told me she slept with everybody on the fucking football team. Understand that? That's Bridget Nielsen. They got their own show with this dude. I mean, it's unbelievable. They won't even show a black man talking like that to a black woman anywhere. But they got this shit on TV. We must violet flame this shit here before we leave here. I have the charts here. How many of you know, saw the last tape I did? We talked about the violet flame. Okay. Now, so what's going on here? We're still talking about opening up your root chakra for sexuality. That's what that's dealing with. Everything today is dealing with sexuality. And that's what that's dealing with. See that?
Azzariah, they have a follow-up to it. It's called Strange Love. And they're continuing on with this.
Unbelievable, brother. And as I was looking through the TV guide, you know, I get the Inquirer and I get all these funny little magazines, because they probably have more truth in it than your regular New York Times or Wall Street Journal. And I noticed this shit right here. Bridget Nielsen, Witches of Salem. You see that? Witches of Salem, Bridget Nielsen, same bitch. Dealing with Flavor Flav. We talk about program sleepers here. The whole motherfucking, what's the group he came from? Public Enemy. All of that was set up. All of it. They're all talking foolishness. What's his name? Chuck D? Chuck D came and said rappers are gods or something like that. He was talking about rap and it just didn't even click right. Moving on. Here's Johnny Cochran in the very last case that he was working on with Alberta Sprill, I think her name was. Was that her name, Sprill? And this was the last thing that Johnny Cochran was doing here. And of course, here it is, Sunday, April 18th, 2004. That's last year, ain't it? Johnny Cochran recuperating from ailment. Well, I guess it said ailment on there or something. I don't know what the rest of that said. But here's the numerology. 66. Understand that. 18th, Hitler's birthday. Dealing with the sixes. All the science was here. He was supposed to be over the Michael Jackson case. And understand something about Michael Jackson. Because I go outside, I talk to the brothers on the street, oh yeah, they want Michael Jackson because he got the Beatles song and all that shit. Bullshit. They could kill him and say that he died from some sickness and take it if they want to. That's bullshit. The Beatles come out of Tavistock Institute, which was a mind control institute in London. Understand that? And they produced a song called Helter Skelter. And what was the guy that went around killing people based on that song? Charles Manson. And Charles Manson killed white people so that he could start a race riot. We're talking about Tavistock Institution dealing with the Beatles, in which Michael Jackson bought the songs. Now understand, when you look at Michael Jackson's face, remember the grabbing the dick and all that shit? All of that is symbolic of how he thinks. Your features are based on your mind patterns. And that's how the Moors would determine their mate. If I met a woman and I would look at her features, you wouldn't have to speak to her. That was telepathy. That was telepathy. Understand that. Johnny Cochran recuperated. So we know that Johnny Cochran has been dead over a year. The key phrase here is, if it doesn't fit, you must quit. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? If it doesn't fit, you must quit. He doesn't fit in the Illuminati society. When you have large followings and you don't follow the program and do what they tell you to do, you must be killed. You must be killed. You cannot have a large following in a programmed society. Just want to go through a little bit of the news here. Who's that? Old dirty what? Well, they call him old daddy bastard here. Isn't that interesting? Got a whole other swing on it. Old dirty bastard could be a nickname, but not daddy bastard. Daddy bastard means without father. That comes from the cat god of Egypt. He had 13 kids. Am I right? And he was married 13 years. And they killed him on the 13th. For anyone who saw one of the lectures I did, I talked about how they fractured a mind into a 13 by 13 matrix in mind control. And each one of these compartments, which add up to, I believe, 2,179, somewhere around there, compartments. And in each one of these compartments, they put in a program. They killed old dirty bastard on the 13th. 13 kids. Married 13 years. They don't even have to say this shit. Why are they saying it? They don't have to say it. Now, what I'm going to do is move from the slides for a minute. And it's a mind control and programming. And I'm going to start with the holy days of the Illuminati. These are days in which, or holidays, in which they perform certain rituals. And I have so many of them that I'm not going to give them all to you. But I'm going to give you some of the major ones. They have one called Duels to the Death. Now, at Duels to the Death, what they do is they have two men battle with swords among a crowd of people. And the loser of that battle must eat the body of that person they killed. This takes place. This actually takes place. Now, I don't know the date of it. As a matter of fact, I do have the date. January 1st. Now, for my information, the original calendar was made up of 365 days, but each month had 29 days, and the month we call the shortest day, which is February, actually had 30 days. The bride of Satan. The bride of Satan. The crone invocation. The crone invocation. We're going to talk about each and every one of these. Can you all see that? The Grail Mass. December 25th. The Rod of Light. And let me stop right there. Rod of Light ceremony, June 1st.